Good evening, my friend. Welcome to the show. I am Lou Mongello. It is Wednesday night, my favorite night of the week, and time for WDW Radio Live. As always, if you're watching live, thank you for being here, spending and sharing some of your Wednesday night with me. If you're watching on the replay, please join us every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing, because you never know from where or when I may be going live next. Now, not that you would know the difference, but quick apology. My plan tonight was actually to be out. I had not one, not two, but three different destinations that I was bouncing around in between in my mind today to go to and bring you the show from. However, real life and the show gets in the way. I have an interview tomorrow morning. I have to be up at like 5 and be at the parks before parks opening. To do an interview, which I will share in the next week or two. It'll all make sense then. So I have a lot to do, and prep for tonight. Wasn't going to be able to get out and get back and do the kind of show that I wanted. So next week, I'll probably be back out again. But I'd like to welcome and thank you for being here in my home with me. So I appreciate it. If you're new, if you're a first time member, viewer, watcher, joiner, please let me know in the chat and let me know where you are watching from. And Karen, please tell Sean that I said hello. So I thought instead tonight we're going to do a little bit of trivia, a little bit of a different way. We're going to do a little, as you can see, a little Disney by the numbers. That will make sense very, very soon. Relatively short-ish show tonight, especially, again, I have to apologize. I wasn't able to get a show out on Monday. Life, work gets in the way. I was really sick over the weekend, like from Thursday to really Monday, where I had an all-day presentation. I had a 2-hour keynote, an hour-and-a-half workshop, and then something else with the same group later in the night. But I was knocking on death's door, or so it felt like, over the weekend. So I wouldn't have been able to give the show, my guests, and you the kind of the level of the show and I wouldn't be able to deliver what I wanted to, just because of the way I felt, the way I sounded. So no show other than last week's, our show from the archives. And of course, I don't have that graphic ready. But the show from the archives, where in honor of just coming back from Italy, me and my friend Maria Riboli had gone to the Italy Pavilion to talk about just how real it was in comparison. And I've actually been listening in my car because it's fascinating to hear, one, how awful I sound, and two, I'm always my biggest critic, right? And two, now that I've been to the places that I've seen, and I haven't been back to the Italy Pavilion as yet, it's fascinating to hear my conversation, her answers, and then now being able to associate the places with the real. So Sue Passover says, I was homesick for the motherland. You may or may not be completely accurate. I still have not ventured down the pizza and or pasta route since I have gotten back, because I am fearful of the potential disappointment that I might feel. Heather says, I should start packing for the WDW Radio cruise to Bermuda. I agree, Heather. I shouldn't have just unpacked. Oh, yeah, the cruise. I cannot believe the cruise is 17-ish, if my math is somewhere around there. 17, 18. And actually tonight, one of the reasons why I'm staying home, I have a very informative, you can translate that to very, very long and detail-rich email that I'm going to send out to everybody who's coming on the cruise in April. If you're watching and going to be there, please let me know in the chat. Speaking of cruises, by the way, don't forget, we still have availability on our Nat Geo Expedition, our very first ever WDW Radio river cruise on the Danube Christmas markets, AMA Waterways, Nat Geo. We're going to have a Nat Geo guide with us, a Nat Geo photographer with us to teach us how to photograph some of the amazing destinations we're going to together. We have a really, really nice group of people on board the ship. And again, these ships are much smaller, much more intimate, very different experience than what you would get on a quote unquote traditional Disney cruise. We're going to have more about the river cruise coming very, very, very soon. So Elizabeth says, we're ready to cruise with you again. Beatrice is ready to cruise again. Darren can't wait for the Bermuda cruise. I can't either because I've only been on the Fantasy for a group cruise, and I think it's only one time. I think it was our Star Wars Day at Sea in 2016, 2017. So it's been a really, really long time. And I miss the extended amount of time that we're going to have on board. And I'm really looking forward to the overnight in Bermuda. So we do have, like I said, we have room available, obviously, on our Nat Geo. We still actually, because of a cancellation, we now have one room available for Adventures by Disney to Wyoming, which I'm really looking forward to. A domestic Wyoming, a domestic Adventures by Disney, family-friendly, 7 days, 6 nights, places in the country that I've never seen before. And I've traveled a lot extensively through the country, especially as a kid, driving cross-country with my parents, but I've never been to any of these destinations, and I cannot wait, again, for that Adventures by Disney experience. And we're obviously going to recap our entire Adventures by Disney trip to Italy. It's what I wanted to record over the weekend. I could not have given it the love and the attention and the non-cloudy headspace that it deserved. Am I excited to go on Fantasy again? Absolutely. It's a beautiful ship. It's very different. I mean, it's similar yet different in terms of especially places like the District than the Dream. So because it's been such a long time since I've been on it, it's going to be sort of fresh again for me. I'm going to be almost experiencing it again for the first time. A couple of other event-related notes that are not necessarily Disney related. I'm not sure if you saw on social that I'm going to be at MegaCon. I'm going to be covering MegaCon starting tomorrow. So make sure you turn on notifications on Facebook. Please make sure you're following and turn on notifications, especially for stories over on Instagram at Lou Mongello. And I was invited to host a panel this year at MegaCon. Super stoked for about living your Star Wars story. Star Wars in the Disney parks, Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Galactic Star Cruiser, what almost was, what is, and what might be. And I'm going to be joined by Ryan Donahoe from the Forcecast, my buddy Jeremiah Good from Laughing Place, and a little boy known as Nicholas Mongello, and I am super stoked to have him. So if you're going to be at MegaCon, Sunday, April 2nd, it's this Sunday, 12:15, room S320E. I would love to see anybody in the seats, plus I'll have giveaways. So if you're local, if you're coming to MegaCon, please come by and say hi. And somebody actually asked, I got a DM on Facebook. Timing is everything. My Momentum Weekend Retreat in April is now officially sold out. However, you can get on the wait list if you're interested in spending a weekend in a luxury vacation home near Walt Disney World with a small group of very smart, by the way, very dedicated entrepreneurs looking to work on building their business and brand and making real results. The Weekend Retreat is one of my favorite events of the year because it is a small group, it's heavily focused, and also, by the way, it's a lot of fun, and I take care of all the details. Your room, your food, the pool, activities, and hopefully the mission is to help you leave in a better position than you were when you got there. There he is, as if on cue. Ryan Donahoe is here in the chat, and judging by the way I look at, that looks like he's chatting from outside my house in a van. So Ryan, I look forward to seeing you on Sunday, if not sooner, buddy. So let's see, Nat Geo, Wyoming, Fantasy, MegaCon. What else? Oh, well, there's one other tiny little thing. I'll save that to the end. It's a little tease. It's really nothing. You probably won't even care, but I'm going to save it as a little tease anyway. Amanda Bonner from, I almost called it Disney Travel for All, from meandthemagic.com. It is good to see you. Jodie Benson is going to be at MegaCon. Rumor has it she's like already in town. There may have been a Jodie Benson sighting from somebody who I saw earlier today. Will I be in Disney for Happily Ever After? Dessert party opening night. Now, so that it opens April 2nd. I don't believe so. My schedule, which may have seemed crazy before, is about to get turned up to 12. So I'm going to be sort of all over the place a lot. It'll make sense. You'll see exactly. Ryan says, I'm going to be hijacking the panel and doing the top 10 reasons to buy a Ronto wrap. Stay tuned. I told you, Ryan, you don't have to buy I will buy you a Ronto wrap. I mean, not that day, but at some point I do owe you a Ronto wrap. So don't sweat it, man. Save your money, and the Ronto wrap, or Ronto wraps plural, is on me. So I've gotten a lot of questions about the Reedy Creek news. I had 3 news stations call me tonight, and of course, unfortunately, 1, I could not go on because I had the show tonight, and 2, I am not fully caught up to speed to speak to it relatively intelligently. I do understand sort of the main crux of what the news is, that supposedly Disney had sort of made arrangements before everything happened to sort of limit the powers of Reedy Creek. I do not want to comment on it without being fully read and fully performed. I will try and take a look in the next day or so. So I would rather not. I would rather not sort of say anything that is incorrect for not being fully informed. So that's the only reason why. Michelle Knapp, good to see you. And Michelle says, great question. Do I ever get a vacation besides the fun I get to do for work? Like, no, but yes, because I love what I do so much, and I get to travel so much and go to such incredible places. Like, Italy was a vacation while being a working vacation, if that makes any sense. I have a very difficult time relaxing. Those who know me closely, I just can't sort of sit down and not really do anything. I try to, rest here and there and do stuff with my family here and there a little bit, but the wheels are always sort of spinning, and I can't call it a blessing and a curse, because I'm again, very grateful and fortunate to be able to do whatever it is that I do. So somebody said there was another question. Are there any meets planned for springtime? I think you mean springtime surprise weekend, which I believe is the weekend of that we leave on the fantasy cruise. I don't have final details yet, but there's a 92.483% chance that the meet of the month in April is going to be the Friday before the cruise, probably in the afternoon, because we have to get up early to leave for the cruise the next day. I think I know where it's going to be. It's probably going to be Epcot. So, but I just need to finalize a couple other things. So there will likely be a meet on that day. So Brett's asking info about cruise. Which of the cruises are you? Which of the cruises are you looking for? But yeah, that's probably what is happening. So yes, Epcot for the meet. I will be. It seems like forever since I've done a meet of the month, and I know it's not, but my body clock is and my mental clock is still. Bermuda. Yeah, you're gonna get an email tonight from me. Get ready. Grab a little hot cocoa, a hot tea, a hot toddy, because it's going to be, I don't want to say voluminous. It's going to be full of relevant and important information. So it's coming. It is coming. Get ready. There's not a method to the madness, but there's a reason why it was delayed in coming. Sometimes it takes a while to get news that we need from Disney in order to move forward on certain things. So I promise it is coming, and stay tuned. So I think that's all of the updates that I had. Let's try and get into, let me see if I can remember how to do this and do this right. Let's do a little bit, we're going to do a little bit of trivia tonight, but a little bit of a different type of trivia. We're going to do a little bit of Disney by the numbers. We're going to do a little Disney by the numbers, where I'm going to ask you a series of number-based trivia questions. And if I've configured things the right way, you need to put the correct or correct-ish number in within the amount of time. See if you get it right. And who knows, maybe at the end, I have a whole stack of valuable prizes that I still need to give away, including some stuff that I brought back from Disneyland Paris. So we'll see. I also have a number of tax documents that I have to continue to finish getting ready, but I don't like to say the T word at this time of year. Let us keep moving forward and get into a little bit of trivia, if it works, by the numbers. And it should be, wait a minute. Nope, that's not it. Wait, that's not it. Hold it. That's still not it. Wait a minute. Oh, that's it. Here we go. And why is this not? Look at that. It's not. Hold on a second. That does not seem to be. It does not seem to be. Oh, that's just awesome. Give me 1 second. Let's try and figure out exactly why this is not working here. Please talk amongst yourselves. I will give you a question to discuss in the chat. If I could take you to Walt Disney World right now and dinner anywhere that you like, where would you want to go and what would you order? That'll keep you busy just for a second while I try and figure out why this is not working the way it is supposed to be. Oh, Louis Mangello. This works every single time. By the way, Topolino's is a great answer. Just FYI. Let me figure out what is happening here. I'm sorry. Just give me 1 second and give me 1 second. This is incredibly awkward, and this unfortunately is what happens when I have to sort of configure everything on my own. I need a producer, a director. I need something. I need some semblance of help somewhere. Yeah, I don't know why this isn't working, considering it's worked every single time before. Well, there you go. Meg nods and proudly Kimonos. I'd order tempura asparagus and a bunch of rolls. I haven't been to Kimonos in ages. If only there was somebody who would go to Kimonos with me. I'm going to just restart this for a second and hopefully can get this working again. I apologize for yeah, I don't know why this isn't working when it should. Wait, I think I found it out. I think I might have figured out what is. There we go. Let's see. This should. All right, we got it. Katrina Kenny, I saw that come in. Takumi Te. I'm waiting for Takumi Te. Right now, it's sort of an omakase menu. I'm waiting for it to go back to the full menu. By the way, I forgot what I was going to say. I don't remember. See, brain still a little foggy. Still a little foggy from coming back from Italy. All right, let's see if this actually is... Oh, this is not... No, I don't think this is configured correctly. Well, see if you can see if this works. What year did Disney release the Epcot documentary? I'm going to test this on my end because it looks like now it is not working the way it is supposed to. So give me 1 second. Let's take a look and see. Let's see if this works the way it is supposed to. Sorry, I'm trying to do like 4 things all at the exact same time as the computer still works to compute answers. Oh, and it did. Look at that. It took a little while, but it eventually worked. Yeah, the answer is 1967. Now that we know that it works okay, we can keep moving forward. Yeah, the original Epcot documentary film, which is fascinating to look at all of these years later, was released for the first time in 1967. We're going to move on to the... It's interesting. People are like, 1989. I'm like, wait a minute. That was after the parks opened. What year did the silly symphony film The Skeleton Dance premiere? I'm going to tell a very quick story. So there's a cast member trivia hunt, scavenger hunt that takes place every year called Goofy's Mystery Tour. I was invited to do a number of years ago. It's an amazing, incredibly well put together thing. Years ago, we get to the final clue, the final answer. We have a chance to win this thing. And one of my teammates was like, well, we hand in our answer sheet without having the final answer for this unscramble thing. We're all working on it like individually. And she's like, yeah, I couldn't get the answer. All I had was skell, not dance. And we're like, did you not know skeleton dance? And she didn't. So forever, skeleton dance will be a sad moment in Lou Mongello trivia history. Kendall Foreman, Amber Bramble, Katrina Kenny, Steve, wow, all of you, so many people got this one great. Ryan Donahoe, do you have somebody there helping you? How are you getting all these answers correct? But yeah, 1929 it's amazing that it's almost 100 years ago. That is almost 100 years ago, which is bizarre to me. What year did Disney's Port Orleans Resort Riverside open? What year did Port Orleans Riverside open? I will give you a hint. It's not 1929. It is not 1929. Jenny Hess, I saw, just popped in. Jenny Hess, it is nice to see you. I haven't seen you in so long. I'm so sorry that I've missed some of the events lately. But I actually talked about Raglan Road today when I was recording a podcast. Did you know, by the way, you could have brunch at Raglan Road, and you should have brunch at Raglan Road, but I digress. What is the correct answer for what year did Disney's Port Orleans Riverside open? What year did Port Orleans Riverside open? And now I'm just double checking to make sure that the audio is sounding good. Yeah, so 1992 is the answer. Hannah Bird, Tatiana Walton, good to see you. 1992. Jason, Gina Flacco, Gina and Anthony Flacco, who now I'm guessing are playing together side by side. Ryan Donahoe, who is this guy coming out of left field, getting all this? Ryan Donahoe's the Star Wars guy. I didn't realize he was the Disney trivia guy. What year did World of Motion, narrated by Gary Owens, by the way, what year did World of Motion close? And I know these are a little challenging. That's the whole idea. Last time you guys got like all of them right. The top 3 or top 5 were very, very, very close. So what year did World of Motion, which I loved, by the way, slow-moving, leisurely ride, great music. I loved how your Omnimover type vehicle actually went in and then back outside the building again. But what year do you think World of Motion closed? Michael Arison got it right. It is, of course, 1996. Gina Flacco, Jason, Scott, Mary, Amy, Steve. I hope you guys are not Googling your answers before you put them in there, or do you all just realize that it closed in 1996? I'm actually awful with years. I'm awful with languages, and years always sort of throw me off, but it was, in fact, 1996. How much did Disney pay in billions, rounded, I'm looking for a single number, a single digit, how much did Disney pay in billions for Lucasfilm? Which, after about a year, looked like it was the deal of the century. It seemed like a ridiculous number at the time, and now is the deal of the century. It's interesting to see people writing 200 million billion. That might be a little high. I saw 60, 12 billion, 8 billion, 9 billion. Jeff Still's answering one of the prior questions. The correct answer is about $4 billion. $4 billion. In hindsight, it was a ridiculously good deal. Maybe not for George, but for everybody else, it was a ridiculously good deal. Speaking of Star Wars, did I mention the panel at MegaCon this weekend with one Ryan Donahoe, by the way? So Ryan Donahoe does not get the Star Wars question correct. I don't understand. What year did Disney Quest permanently close in downtown Disney, Lake Buena Vista Village, Disney Springs, whatever you prefer to call it? What year did Disney Quest permanently close? Hyperspace Mountain. No. Yeah, it was Hyperspace Mountain. It was the Pirates. Oh my God, what was the Pirates of the Caribbean adventure called? Cheesecake Factory. I think Disney Quest was a great idea. It just was never updated enough to keep up with the changing attention span and interests of a growing and much more technologically savvy and interested audience. It was, of course, 2017. Again, really, look at you guys. So many people getting these. I thought these were hard, and yet the top 10 people are all getting them correct. Yeah, Deborah, at 20, when I tell people that there was a Cheesecake Factory in Walt Disney World, they look at me. I mean, I am a crazy person, but really like a crazy person. Yeah, Lorenzo, the NBA experience, I never quite understood it. In what year did Wishes, you can hear it now in your head, a magical gathering of Disney Dreams, debut in Magic Kingdom? What year did Wishes, pause, a magical gathering of Disney Dreams debut in Magic Kingdom? I see 2003, 2005, 2010, 2005, 1971, probably not a correct, 2012, 2002, 2008, 1996, 2001. Karen says that I was there for this. Darren says that I was told that this is technically not math. You have to just know the year. It was 2003. Wishes remains one of my all-time favorite fireworks nighttime spectaculars in Walt Disney World. The sound of that little child's voice just sort of hits me in all of my hungry feels. So later on, the last question of the day will be for you to tell me what your favorite fireworks show. How many lands, because they're not technically considered lands, how many areas, how many regions were there when Disney's Animal Kingdom opened? How many different lands were there when Disney's Animal Kingdom opened? Remember, it looked slightly different in a number of ways. Now, it looks different then than it does right now. So sort of mentally go around in your head trying to remember what the name, because remember, names, some areas went away and some areas' names were also changed. Some were announced and yet never came to be. But how many actual lands were there? There were 6. What was the name of what was the original, and I think like opening day it was still this. What was the original name of the Oasis? Remember? It was Genesis Garden. It was, well, maybe it wasn't opening day, but they did not like the religious connotation of using the word Genesis and the biblical reference, so it was changed to the Oasis. What did the Walt Disney World Dolphin, aka the tallest resort in Walt Disney World, No, the big black square does not look to represent a place that could be removed for a monorail. What year did the Walt Disney World Dolphin, Todd English's Blue Zoo, I Still Love You So? What year did the Walt Disney World Dolphin open? We're almost at the halfway mark, and I'm curious to see what the final scores are going to be. What year did the Walt Disney World Dolphin actually open? Still, by the way, the most comfortable beds on property. $19.90, and I did a show, gosh, a long, long time ago, and it was like secrets and stories from the Swan and Dolphin. I did it with Jim, and I did it with, gosh, I can't remember, Werner Weiss from Yesterland. We sat outside of the Swan and Dolphin and did it. Really, there's some really cool, fascinating stories about it. This is a tough one. This one's hard, and we're at the halfway mark. In what year, that's year, not years, in what year was the golf resort expanded and renamed the Disney Inn? And then for no bonus credit after you answer, you can tell me what the Disney Inn is currently known as. What year, not years, what year was the golf resort renamed and expanded to become the Disney Inn? And then for extra bonus credit, that doesn't actually count for extra credit, who was the mascot? What character was the mascot of the Disney Inn when it opened? And it is 1986, and I saw Amy pop in with Shades of Green, which is still the only resort I've never stayed at. Still, I just need a buddy, I need a pal who can get me in. That is the last one I need to tick off the box. And it is not Goofy. Goofy is not the answer. Jason Knapp from herewiththemagic.com. But Shades of Green is correct. Okay, there were approximately how many cast members when Walt Disney... Why didn't I write Walt? When Walt Disney World opened. Told you, brain mushy. About how many cast members were employed here on property in Orlando when Walt Disney World opened. Think about what it looked like in 1971. What was here? What wasn't here? 1 theme park, 2, eventually 3 resorts. There was also, don't forget, the preview center was here and remained here for a while, open on Hotel Plaza Boulevard. But there was about 5,500 cast members. So you see how this works, right? You don't have to get the exact number. It's sort of like the closest guess. So 5,000, for those of you who got it, those 7 or 8 of you that got about 5,000 was a great answer. Think about 5,000 then, and it's about 88,000 now here. Again, that number, without going down that road, the number does change. Approximately how many acres in size is Toy Story Land? Home, and I have not... If only there was somebody that I could find to go with me to try Woody's Rodeo Roundup Barbecue Festival Extravaganza. I missed the event when it opened because I was stuffing my face in Italy. But I need to go and... I want to go and review it and experience it for the very first time at the same... Normally I've been to restaurants before, but I think this time I want to do my review as I'm entering in and experience the entire restaurant and the menu for the very first time. But Toy Story Land is about 11 acres here in Walt Disney World, about the same size in Disneyland as well. And actually, in some of the Toy Story Lands and other parks, there's vastly different attractions. There's the RC racers, the parachute drop in Paris and in, is it Hong Kong or Shanghai? Shanghai. But here it's about 11 acres. And Thea says 4,000 acres. That's a huge Toy Story Land. How many attractions were in operation on Magic Kingdom on opening day, October 1st, 1971? How many different attractions according to Disney, because there are some people like, no, it's wrong. This is considered an attraction that is not considered an attraction. According to Disney and what was on guide maps and guidebooks, how many attractions were in operation on opening day? Remember, some attractions didn't open until the next day, and some didn't open until the day after. That might have actually been one of the trivia questions. What attraction opened on October 2nd? But let's see how many people get this one correct. The correct answer is 26. Correct. I cannot name them off the top of my... I could probably come close. To naming them. But remember, things like the Main Street vehicles were listed as an attraction. The omnibus was listed as an attraction. So, like, on paper, there were more than it may have seemed. But yeah, there were about 26 attractions in Magic Kingdom on opening day. What year did the Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village, you may know it as Disney Springs now, what year did the Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village open? I saw a lot of answers that were single digit, right? Because you think back, you're like, well, they couldn't have had that many. They actually did. They actually opened with a lot. And if you start to go through and list them out on paper, like you can sort of see how it gets to 26. Again, definitions of what is an attraction may have shifted a little bit, but like even on Main Street, there were a number of attractions on Main Street. Like the Main Street Theater was an attraction. The omnibus, the Main Street vehicles were all considered attractions. They were 8-ticket attractions, but they were attractions. Wow, good look at you. Caleb Joshua Hill getting 1975. Lorenzo getting 1975. Ryan Donahoe has dropped off the boards, by the way. His Google is no longer working as quick as it was before. Joshua Smith, good job, brother. Well done, everyone. Very well done. Clearly, I need to make these harder. Yeah, Mary, people do argue about the number often. I go off the official Disney list. Approximately, how many resort rooms does Walt Disney World have on property? How many rooms? And I'm trying to remember. I think the number is, if you tried to stay in every room on property, it would take you 33 or 35 years or some ridiculous number like that. But how many different rooms are there on property? Caleb says 100. There's 100 resort rooms, 10,000, 32,000, 75,000. It's all over the board. It is all over the board. And the correct number is approximately, I'm rounding, approximately 30,000. I wonder if we can get sort of a more accurate, I'm sure I could figure it out, a much more accurate number of all of those rooms. So it seems like a lot, right? It seems like a lot. When you think about how many people are in this living, working, breathing city all at once, it's incredible. How many towers are there on Cinderella Castle? You've stared at Cinderella Castle hundreds, if not thousands of times. You've looked at it over and over again from every single angle. Have you ever counted the number of towers that are on there? Anthea, this is not about being good or bad at this. It's just about having fun. If you learn and take away just one little nerdy, ridiculous fact that you can pay forward, then it's a win. I see some people getting really close. Really, really close. But the number is 27. There are 27 towers atop Cinderella Castle. Tyler Ford hitting it on the nose with a score of 70. Anthony Flacco is close. Mary, Jeff, Howie. Do you like the current color scheme? Do you like the peachy, pinkish hue that is on there, or did you like the castle just when it was pure gray? Have you warmed up to this color as yet? How many acres does Epcot cover? How many acres does Epcot cover? Now, if you start thinking about the size of all of the different parks and the wide spectrum of sizes. Think about how small Hollywood Studios is. Think about how really small Magic Kingdom is, and then start thinking about how big Epcot is, and then start thinking about how big Disney's Animal Kingdom is, how big the Savannah alone at Disney's Animal Kingdom is. Approximately how many acres does Epcot Center cover? Darren is slightly off with 15,576. It's more like 305, and look at how many people got 305 right on the nose. Ryan Donahoe's got his internet back, everybody. He's back with the Googles. He's back with the Googles. Karen says it's just a question in a book I just read. Was it a Walt Disney World trivia book, by the way? Just out of curiosity. Who has a Walt? You tell me at the end, because we're down to our last couple of questions. The exterior of Spaceship Earth is constructed with how many individual Alucobond triangles? Now, there's panels and there's individual triangles. I'm looking for the number of individual triangles. This is not meant to be an Illuminati symbol. This is meant to be the number of actual triangles on the exterior of Spaceship Earth. And I remember I still know the number by heart, but I used to know this number because it was very close to another very high number. And I sort of use these two as just sort of memory tricks. So that number, and it's probably different now because I know it has changed, but that 11,224 triangles actually was the same number of parking spots at Magic Kingdom at one point. But now the parking lot is much, much larger because the Speedway has gone away and they've changed they've expanded it a lot. I don't know what the current number of parking spots in Magic Kingdom is, but at one point, the number, at least on paper, were exactly the same. So that's how I was able to remember the two. And I would be able to potentially get 2 Trivia Con. I'm really looking for those who are coming on the cruise, I can't wait for trivia nights on board the Disney Fantasy. It's one of my favorite things to do at night. I'm not really a drinker at all, but I really do like I like trivia nights. So about how many shops and restaurants are there in Disney Springs? About how many shops and restaurants are there in Disney Springs? This number is going to shock you. And I verified it twice today from 2 different sources, including Disney, to make sure this number is true. And I have eaten in probably most of the places. It's 150. There are 150 shops and restaurants in Disney Springs. Maybe it's not going to surprise as many people as I thought, based on how many people got this one correct. But yeah, it is 150, which seems ridiculously high for that space. And there's some shops I never really understood, but I guess why they're there. But I guess they certainly appeal to a certain market and demographic. So, Deborah, it is a lot. And, I like that question so much, I asked it twice because I'm an idiot. How many times have changed this question to answer this question to be, how big of an idiot is Lou Mongello on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being he's a big idiot. He's a moron because he asked the same question twice. So now this is a freebie. If you get this one wrong, what are you doing? Because we literally just had the exact same. It's not a trick question. It is not a trick question. It remains 150. So I did this for you. So you could get a second one correct. And yet I still see people like, there's 7. So if all goes to plan, the computer should be calculating or it's going to start to calculate who the winners are. I don't see it on my end. It does not tell me while it's doing the calculations who got what, because there's also, it's not just accuracy, it's also speed that it uses to calculate. I don't know. It's some sort of very complicated algorithm. But our winners, based on scores and time and correct answers, Mary T. Wells with a 925.7. Can you see? Did I leave my answer sheet out? Amy Rivard Peterson, 798, and Karen St. Pierre, 751.4. All of you did incredibly well. I don't think I would have done as well on this. I'm really bad with the numbers, but those are very, very, very impressive results. And I promise next time I do trivia, I will make the answers, I'll make the questions a little bit harder, a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging for you. Even though I'm sure some of you are screaming, please don't do it. So yes, ladies, really, really, really well done. Take a screenshot of this. Show your friends, brag. If you share it on social, just tag me so I see it and I will reshare it for you. But you'll be very proud. Those were a lot of really, really difficult, challenging questions. I have no idea why my camera is now looking all wonky like that, but that's okay. It's just how it goes. It's how the tech does its thing sometimes, but that is okay because we are actually going to go and start to wrap things up for tonight. I have to move on to what is next, what is tomorrow, and it's something I'm working on for you. I've got some research I need to do and some prep, and I also am going to get that. If you're coming on the Bermuda cruise, I'm going to get that email out to you right away. Again, if you're interested in coming on our Nat Geo expeditions, you can visit www.radio.com/NatGeo23. If you're interested in securing that one final spot on our Adventures by Disney to Wyoming, visit www.radio.com/Wyoming2023. Thanks as always to everybody who is a member of the Nation family. I sincerely appreciate your love and your support. You do not know how much it and you mean to me. If you want to find out how you can help the show and get a cool rewards every month for as little as $1 per month and help our Dream Team project to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation of America, please go to www.radionation.com. Becky, wherever you might be, I know where it is. It's Disneyland. We're going to take up a collection for Becky, obviously. But if you're looking to come to Worldland, Adventures by Disney, or join us on any of our adventures, please go and visit mousefantravel.com. And if you're a member of the Clubhouse, thank you for being part of the family. Do me a favor, if you know somebody else who'd like to join this incredibly warm, friendly, family-friendly, and welcoming community that you have created, please invite them to be part of the Clubhouse family. Finally, most importantly, thank you. Please don't forget, turn on notifications this week. I'm going to try and go live from MegaCon. I will be at MegaCon with one Ryan Donahoe, Jeremiah Good, and Nicholas Mongello, wherever you may be, on Sunday, hosting our panel about Star Wars, living your Star Wars story in the Disney parks. That's going to do it for tonight and for this week. Look for another show from the archives tomorrow in your feed, probably late in the afternoon. I still haven't figured out which one I'm going to pull from the archives as yet. And as always, please remember to choose the good and be the good and pay that positivity forward to someone else. I love you. I appreciate you. See ya.